What's up, everyone? This is Tia Kirby. Welcome back to another episode of Heart of the Matter. Today, we are getting to the heart of the matter with CEO and founder of Mielle Organics and all-around dope chick, Monique Rodriguez.
Thank you.
So if you are not familiar with Heart of the Matter, then let me fill you in. This is a place where we get past the facade of social media and I got it all together. This is a platform where we want to allow people to share their stories and allow you to find your story in their story, be inspired and encouraged to get through your own journeys and allow you to connect and create community. So without further ado, let's get to Monique's story. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, today we are getting to the heart of the matter with founder and CEO of Mielle Organics, speaker and philanthropist and amazing inspiration to me, Monique Rodriguez.
Thank you.
So Monique, thank you so much for coming on Heart of the Matter and being willing to share your story.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we had a chat in Chicago and you shared with me and my mouth was on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so excited for you to just share your journey and kind of encourage and inspire others. So with all of that said, I'm going to turn the mic over to you and ask you to share.
Yeah, so I started Mielle Organics in 2014, and I started it at home in my basement, quickly moved to the garage because we outgrew the basement, and it was just me and my husband at the time. My mom, she did help and chip in too, but I started the company just out of my love for beauty and hair. I've always been so passionate about beauty, all things hair. I've just always been into that ever since I was a little girl. But my dreams of, just being a business owner, because I've always had dreams and visions of just owning my own business ever since I was a child. But those dreams kind of got pushed to the side because, I didn't come from a family of entrepreneurs. I didn't come from business. I didn't see other women that looked like me that owned a business. So I didn't think that was something that I can achieve. My mother was a hardworking woman. She did everything she could to provide for me and my brother. Growing up, my mom always instilled in me, like, you got to go to nursing school. You'll always find a job. It's a great career. You'll make decent money. Go to college and go to work and work that 9-to-5 job until it's time for you to retire, and then you enjoy life. But something never clicked in me like that was the normal thing to do. Like, I've always had visions of, living a good lifestyle and not working for someone else every day and being miserable and unhappy going to work, because my mom didn't like her job. She hated going to work. So,
as most people do.
Right. And, the cycle is like, where do you break that cycle at? Like, the cycle continues because, especially in our culture, we're in this box, right? And we don't feel that we can achieve great things because we're not exposed to that. And sometimes it just takes that exposure to know that you can achieve it and you can do it. But I didn't have that exposure. But I always felt that vision was in me. So that's how I know that vision came from God. But, when you're 18, 19 years old, you are lost and you're confused and you don't know what to do. So I did what my mom told me to do. And I went to nursing school. Did that. I went to nursing school, graduated at the age of 21. And I was pregnant with my daughter when I graduated nursing school. And, I felt accomplished. I'm like 21 years old. I'm making $50,000-$60,000 a year.
Yeah.
Bought a new car, bought a house at the age of 21.
Wow.
So it's like, I thought I was doing it. So I thought I was doing big things and, just being comfortable and going with the norm. But I quickly realized that going through the notion of just going to work every day, the same repetitive thing every day, it wasn't making me happy and I wasn't fulfilled. And, I was just like, I can't do this for the rest of my life, because even in nursing, I would look to my older peers and look how unhappy they were and how broken down they were. I tried to do direct sales. I tried to start a clothing boutique. I tried to start a jewelry business. I tried to do so many things. I tried to start a home health agency because I was looking for a way out and not really, taking the time to be still and ask God, like, what is it that you want from me? I know there's a bigger purpose. I can feel that it's a bigger purpose. I just don't know what that is.
Right.
And I didn't know how to correlate what I loved as a child. I didn't know how to put that into perspective. Like, this is like, do what you love. I never thought the two would be together, and I can do that as a career. And so I was going through the notion. My last job was at a home health agency. And I was like, you know what, this entrepreneur thing is not working, because everything that I did, it failed.
Right.
Because I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't research. I just tried to jump in head first and try to start something. So I didn't do any research. I didn't do my due diligence. And so when it didn't work, I was like, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to be an entrepreneur. Like, I'm supposed to be a nurse. Let me just go back to being comfortable. And so that's what I did. I said, you know what, I'm going to just try to go back to school and further my career as a nurse. Because I'm already there. So I'm just comfortable. So that's what I did. I went back to school. I actually went back to school twice.
Oh, wow.
The first time I went back to school, I got pregnant with my second daughter. So when I got pregnant with her, she came early and just threw my whole plans off. So I ended up, not finishing that semester. So I just dropped out. So I was like, okay, let me try to go back to being an entrepreneur. So then I went back to the home health job, because the home health agency gave me the autonomy to kind of have that independence, make my own schedule, do what I wanted, things that I was seeking. And it was a little bit more money, not a lot of,
right,
but it was more. So I was like, okay, this is good. I get to kind of almost be an entrepreneur, because I'm looking for that independence. But again, I'm still working for, doing something that I don't love doing. So I said, now I'm going to go back to school again. I'm going to try this again, and try to further my career as a nurse. But the thing is, no matter how much I tried to further my career, my pay scale was only going to go to a certain amount, and then it was going to stop, And granted, when I first started working as a nurse, I started doing agency. So I was making lots of money that, nurses that's been in the field for like 30 years were making. So it's like, I'm already used to that. So now where is my salary going to go?
Right.
Like, it's going to cap out somewhere, right? So I'm like, okay, well, maybe let me just try to go to school, And I went back to school the second time, and I got pregnant with my third child. So, got pregnant with my third child, and the worst thing happened. I had a uterine rupture, and unfortunately my son, he passed away because, he lost oxygen to the brain. So, he was not there when he was born. Right. But again, me and my husband, we didn't want to let go of the fact, or we couldn't deal with it at that time. Absolutely. So, we kept him on life support for about 6 months before we finally decided to, let him be our angel to watch over us. So obviously there was no going back to class after that happened to me. So that was my second time of dropping out. And this was to like further my degree, even though I already had a degree, I was trying to further it. So it's my second time, and I dropped out because there was no way I could focus and concentrate. So
do you mind if I interrupt you real quick? Did you carry full term and give birth?
Yes, it was full term. So he was a full term baby that we were excited about, looking forward to, and unfortunately he didn't make it. So and it was like, at that time it was like, why me? Like, why did this happen to me? I did everything that I was supposed to do. Like, I was a labor and delivery nurse. Gotcha. So I knew exactly like what to do, what not to do. Like, I had the perfect pregnancy until like the last trimester, and then that happened. And it's like, why did this happen?
Right.
So I really had to really further my relationship with God and really get to know him, because I was seeking the answers. And the thing is, you can't question God because we don't know. And it does say in the Bible that all things work for the good, according to those who are called to his purpose. So, and I thought about that. I'm like, all things come together for the good. And I'm like, how is this going to come together? Like, what good is going to come from this situation? But then I think about it, like, I wasn't walking in my purpose either.
That's good.
So, and it says that all things work together for the good, according to those who are called to their purpose. I'm like, I wasn't walking in my purpose. And I still think about that to this day. Because if that didn't happen to me, I would have still, and this is the honest to God truth, because I know myself, I didn't have the faith or the courage to believe that I can achieve being a business owner. If that situation did not happen to me, I would not be here today.
Wow.
Because when that happened, me and my husband, we got saved. We got into church. We were going to church, but we were there, but we were not there. We were not all the way in, because I didn't grow up in church, so I didn't understand like how to develop a relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
We got saved, and I'm telling you, when we got saved, our lives changed tremendously. I started to do a lot of soul searching and, talking with God and my husband as well. And the thing that we got from just us, our relationship maturing with God is that, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to make your name great, but you got to bless others.
That's good. And you definitely have been.
Yeah. So, and I hope so.
You have. You definitely blessed me.
Thank you.
If those of you don't know, I've actually traveled with Mielle Organics, and Monique is actually the one who invited me out to travel, and it truly has definitely changed me. And I had no idea that she had gone through all of this. And I can say, just even watching her and her husband during shows while we were working, just seeing their teamwork, and just seeing her speak on panels, and allowing her to share a little bit of her story, but even just some of the advice that she has, not only as an entrepreneur, but as a mom entrepreneur, and growing this massive brand that it's becoming, is inspirational, and she blesses people all the time. And one of the things that I've always loved and admired about you is when you do it, it's not for bragging rights. You truly do it the way the Bible says to do it, which is, blessing others and allowing God to bless you in the back. So it's not for bragging or for TV or for this promotion to doubt or, brag on yourself. It's always been like from the heart. And if it comes out, it's because either the company has put it out, or people have said something behind the scenes, or there's some that I know that we don't even know about. So for that, I applaud you.
Yeah. And thank you. And you're absolutely right. Like, I feel that, how you act in secret is what matters.
Absolutely.
It's not what you do for show. It's not what you do for the gram. It's how you carry yourself in secret. And that's your integrity, because God knows your heart when you're behind the scenes of the gram.
Right.
And,
so
when
true.
You're in front of the scenes and you're trying to portray this image. I know who I live for, and I try to live my life through Christ and live and walk that walk, a Christian walk, and not just talk the talk, but I really try to walk the walk. For instance, and I know that God is working on me, because in business, there are always going to be challenges, and you're always going to be tested. And the old Monique, how I used to react to tests and situations, and when people may say things to aggravate me or annoy me, just reacting and going off the handle.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not about how you react, it's how do you respond to that situation? Like, do you go off the handle, or do you take a deep breath and not react and just walk away?
Right.
So it's been a lot of situations that I've just walked away, and I've had and even though I know, like, I have the ability to, like, destroy somebody, but I just walk away.
Yeah.
And that's how that, you're walking your Christian walk for God. It's not what the flesh wants you to do. It's what, like, I always have to tell myself, like, okay, Lord, what should I do? You know, because I know who I live for, and I know who needs to judge me, and that's our higher power, like
Absolutely.
Nobody else.
And I think your journey is always supposed to be your journey. I say that all the time, like our journey isn't for everyone's understanding. It's truly for God to get the glory out of us and allow us to grow and evolve, because we grow at every level. So tell us more about how you've grown Mielle Organics to the massive platform that it's become and continuing to grow and to be.
I think that Mielle Organics has grown to the platform that it is now because I feel that I'm engaged with people, and
absolutely.
Of course we sell a product, but it's bigger than the product. It's about, like, what have you done to change somebody's life,
right? And
what have you done to inspire somebody? Because the knowledge and everything that I've learned is not for me to keep to myself. It's for me to help spread and help the next person, give back, because I feel that I've been blessed, so I'm supposed to bless somebody else,
right?
And being connected to the consumer is so important to me. Like, we get a ton of messages on Instagram, a ton of DMs, and even though it's pretty impossible to respond to everyone,
Right.
but I try my best to respond as much as I can because that's important. Like, what company, I can't go on Pepsi's Instagram and speak to the CEO. Granted, it's a bigger company,
Right.
but no matter how big my company gets, I can't forget the people who supported me to get to where I'm at.
Absolutely. I love that.
So I gotta stay connected, and I feel that my customers, like, we're like BFFs,
Yeah.
They know my kids,
Yeah.
they know our birthday, they know my husband's name, and things like that matter.
It does. It does. One of my favorite moments that I remember, and I think that was one of the things that kind of impressed me about who you were. We were in Dallas it was actually 3 events that weekend. And we did or maybe it was 2, but we did a Sally Beauty in-store. And if y'all are from Texas, then you know how that Texas heat is ridiculous. Yeah. And I remember thinking, oh my God, it's over. Thank God. And we were all getting in the car, and Monique literally stood in the Texas heat. And it was hot that day, almost triple digits. And she stood there talking to everyone, even up until it was like the event was well over. And I swear we were sitting there for about 30 minutes because she wanted to connect and make sure that she was talking, and literally held conversation with every single person that came out to the event, every single person. And I was like, she's a real one. She's a real one, because it's hot. I'd be like, okay, I love you. All right.
Yeah, and it just amazes me how, like, even when people approach me and they're like, I was afraid to approach you, or do you mind taking a picture? I'm like, girl, let's take a picture. What do you mean you was scared to, like, who am I?
Yeah.
But it's like, people react that way because there are so many people that are mean, like, that may feel like they've reached a certain point.
Yes.
And trust me, I've experienced it myself. People that you may admire on Instagram, but when you see them in person and they're so standoffish, and, like, if you're not with the in crowd, or if you're not the it girl, they don't want to talk to you. Like, who does that?
Right.
Like, just as quickly as God brought you up, he can bring you down. So don't ever think that you're above or mightier than thou, that you can't take a picture or a selfie or just say hello
Absolutely
to the next person. I know how it feels, and it's like, I would never treat anybody that way because I know how that feels. So when people come up to me and do that, I laugh, but I understand why.
Right. I love that. Here on The Heart of the Matter, we always have a few questions that I like to ask every person that sits down with us. And that is, how did you get through your journey of losing your son and still having the faith to jump in and grow this massive brand? How did you get through it day by day and heal during the process?
It was definitely hard. It was a challenge. But that's what a lot of people don't know. That's the reason why Mielle was created.
Wow.
Because it took me to go back to what I loved, and that was beauty, hair. Talking about that on social media was an outlet for me to just have an outlet, and just to get my thoughts out and to just keep my mind sane, because that's easily something that, you can get down and depressed, and, if you don't have a good support system, I never got depressed. I just felt that, I just got to keep pushing God, because I know it's the reason why. I just don't know why. But I know that my purpose is to help others and give them inspiration and hope, to let them know, like, no matter what circumstances you go through, like, your current situation is not your final destination.
Absolutely.
Like, what I was going through was not, like, I wasn't going to stay there. And even though it seemed as hard as it was to understand that, I just had to take it one day at a time. But talking about hair on social media was an outlet for me.
So it's kind of a form of therapy, and just, I love it. So my next question, of course, is, what advice would you give yourself back then from your today self, or someone that may be going through the same journey?
Of course I have advice, but that's just so tough, because that's just a hard situation to deal with, period. And it's like, no matter what you tell somebody in that current moment, they hear you, but do they really hear you?
Right.
But again, I would say, what you're going through, again, like, all things work together for the good. Like, we may not understand it. You don't know why, you're going through that. But I would really tell someone just to try to nourish your relationship with God and really get close to him, because he will speak to you and he will let you know. But sometimes we have to listen.
Yeah.
And, you know, even though you weep at night, but joy comes in the morning. And it's like, that's so easier said than done.
True.
And even when I
True.
do try to give people advice, it's always easier. But I can say that, you know, I understand, you know, that pain, and I know that it will get better. You'll never get over it, but it will get better, as, you know, hard as that may sound. But, you know, we just have to strengthen our faith, because we can't walk by sight. We got to walk by faith and know that God has us, and he's got our future. Like, we can't worry.
I love it.
He's got us.
I love it. I even like what you said about the scripture about those who are called according to his purpose. And I've never looked at it from that angle of, am I walking in my purpose? So I love that, just to make sure that it's aligning, to make sure that the word is working. Of course, my last question is to you. What have you learned about yourself along this journey of quitting nursing, losing your son, launching a career, and even managing the company that you have, the size of the company that you have, and managing all of the success, the attention, and abroad? What would you say is the biggest thing you've learned about yourself throughout this journey?
So what I've learned is, and this may sound crazy, but I've learned that I've got this.
Yeah, I like it.
I got it, and I've always had it.
Yeah,
but I just never believed in myself. You know, it was already in me to be a successful CEO. It was always in me to be a successful speaker, because I'll tell you this, like, I hated speaking. Like, interviews, I could do a job interview, but doing this, like, I tried to shy away from it. I didn't want to speak. I didn't want to speak publicly because I was afraid. Like, what are people going to think, or are they not going to like my story? But I can only be me.
That's right.
I can only be authentic. I can only be just who I am. And if people don't like me for who I am, then that's your loss. You know, because I'm a good person. And if you don't like me for that, then sorry. Well. So, but I've just learned that, like, you know, don't doubt myself. Like, you got this and you can do it. And I tell my girls that all the time, like, you got this, you can do it, because it's already in us. Yeah. We just got to learn how to bring it out of us.
That's true. That's true. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on Heart of the Matter, and for being so transparent and willing to share your story, your journey, and of course, your faith.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes this episode of Heart of the Matter. And I thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope that you were inspired by Monique's journey and you found a connection with it. And if there's anything that you loved about anything that she said or we said during this conversation, please leave it in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find me on Instagram at Tia Kirby. That's TIAKIRBY. And of course, pretty much every platform. Also, Monique, if you'll tell them about where they can find you on Instagram, your website, and of course the website for Mielle Organics and where it is all sold.
Yes, so you can find me at Exquisite Mo. That's my personal Instagram page. And of course, Mielle Organics is just Mielle Organics Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can also go to our website at mielleorganics.com, and stores retail that we're in. We're in over 20,000 retail stores. So we're in Sally, Walmart, Kroger, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid. I'm forgetting some people, but
they're everywhere.
Everywhere. Walgreens.
It's a new store in the mall, right? Am I forgetting? JCPenney's. Yes. Yes.
So we're everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. The pink label.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So we love you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.